Hello, and welcome to the fourth session of our 5-part video series on tinnitus management. I'm Dr. Caroline Schmidt.
And I'm Dr. Samantha Boris-Karpel. We are research psychologists at the VA Connecticut Healthcare System located in West Haven, Connecticut. You can use these videos to learn how to manage your reactions to tinnitus. We want this experience to be interactive, so we'll ask you to pause the video now and again so that you can fill out a worksheet or do some other activity that we'll explain later. So be sure to keep the remote control handy so that you can pause the video when we ask you to. You should watch these video sessions in order. Move on to the next video session when you have completed all of the exercises recommended in each video session.
Before we get started, we'd like you to gather up a few materials. You'll need a pen or a pencil to write with, and you'll also need the workbook titled How to Manage Your Tinnitus, a Step-by-Step Workbook. Today we'll be using the Changing Thoughts and Feelings worksheet and other exercises in your workbook to track your progress as you learn new ways to cope with your tinnitus. So let's begin. The first thing we're going to talk about is the Changing Thoughts and Feelings worksheet that you filled out after watching video session 2 of this series. Then we're going to review the 2 relaxation exercises as well as the tracking and adding pleasant activities exercises. Afterwards, we will introduce a new topic, which is becoming aware of your thoughts. We'll do this by using the 12 most common negative thoughts or thought errors. Lastly, we will introduce some new homework exercises to go along with what you learn and practice today.
For this session, you will need the Changing Thoughts and Feelings worksheet that you have already started. You will also need your workbook. Remember the goals for tinnitus management. These goals are to reduce emotional reactions to tinnitus, to reduce your stress, to pay little or no attention to your tinnitus, to make sure tinnitus does not interfere with any major life activities, and to get to the point where you no longer need or want further help with tinnitus management. These are the goals of tinnitus management. Are these your goals? Remember too that these goals can be reached even if the sound of your tinnitus doesn't change.
We're going to review the information covered on the Changing Thoughts and Feelings worksheet. On the worksheet, you should have filled out some information for the first 2 skills, relaxation exercises and planning pleasant activities. You should have also practiced the deep breathing exercise and the imagery relaxation exercise, and you should have planned some pleasant activities. Look at your Changing Thoughts and Feelings worksheet that you started to fill out from the last session. If you don't have it, get out a clean worksheet from the back of the workbook. Please pause the video and then restart it when you're ready.
Now that you have the Changing Thoughts and Feelings worksheet, we're going to review it. Was it difficult to identify a problem for number 1? Remember, you can fill out a separate Changing Thoughts and Feelings worksheet for each problem you marked on the tinnitus problem checklist. This is the same way you filled out number 1 on the sound plan worksheet with the audiologist. Now let's look at number 2 on the Changing Thoughts and Feelings worksheet. One of the skills you learned was relaxation exercises such as deep breathing or imagery to help you manage your stress and notice your tinnitus less.
Did these relaxation exercises help you feel less stressed? Did you feel relief from stress and tension? Look in your workbook and review the relief scale for relaxation exercises. Many people say they are more bothered by their tinnitus when they are stressed. The relaxation exercises can help by giving you a sense of relief from the tension and stress caused by your tinnitus. You can use them anytime you feel stressed or your tinnitus is bothering you.
How much relief did you get from practicing the relaxation exercises? Remember that it's important to keep practicing. Sometimes relaxation exercises require a lot of practice in order to be effective. Now let's review planning pleasant activities. This was the second skill listed on your Changing Thoughts and Feelings worksheet. Remember, pleasant activities are activities that you enjoy. They are activities that you like to do but do not have to do. They can help you reduce your stress, distract you from your tinnitus, and help you feel better overall.
You should have practiced at home using the tracking activities worksheet located in your workbook. Did you have a lot of 2s on this exercise? If you did, then you're getting lots of pleasant activities in your day. Also, please review in your workbook where you listed pleasant activities. These are activities that you can try in the future and schedule into your planner.
Here are some important things to remember about these 2 skills that you've learned in the last session. First, tinnitus is less likely to get your attention when you manage your stress and stay busy. Second, avoid practicing relaxation exercises in silence. Instead, using soothing or background sounds while you practice the exercise. You may not notice the relaxation exercise is helping you right away, but that doesn't mean they're not working. Keep practicing. And lastly, increase your pleasant activities over weeks or months, as this can help you learn to ignore your tinnitus.
Now we're going to discuss a new skill, changing thoughts. Please notice on the bottom of the worksheet where it says changing thoughts. This is the new skill you're going to begin to learn today. On the next video session, we'll finish learning this skill.
The new skill is going to help you pay attention to your thoughts. One of the basic ideas of CBT is that events happen to us, and then we have a thought about that event. Then we have a feeling that follows our thoughts. For example, having tinnitus is an event, and then what you think about your tinnitus influences how you feel about it. Also recall the CBT cycle. Remember that your thoughts influence how you feel and how you act or behave.
So what does changing thoughts mean? And how do you do it? Well, first you want to identify thoughts or beliefs, B on the chart, that you had before you started feeling bad, or C on the chart. When you work on changing that thought or belief to something more helpful, then you will feel better. Changing your thoughts about tinnitus can change the way you feel about it. Your feelings affect your health. If you have positive thoughts, you'll have more positive feelings and better health. But if you have negative thoughts, sometimes you'll have negative feelings, and this could lead to poorer health.
For the rest of this session, we're going to discuss how to pay attention to your thoughts and recognize when you're having what's called thought errors or negative thoughts. Negative thoughts are thoughts that are not helpful to you or are unhealthy for you. Sometimes people get into the habit of having negative thoughts that make them feel bad. We all have negative thoughts or thought errors. Thought errors are thoughts that make you feel sad or upset. If you change your thought from a thought error to a new positive thought, it might make you feel better. Many people don't realize this, but you often can control your thoughts.
And having some control over your thoughts starts with being aware of your thoughts. If you are aware of your thoughts, you can catch yourself and correct your thought errors so that you feel better. But before you can change your thought errors, you need to know what you were thinking. Now we're going to discuss the 12 most common thought errors. For homework, you will list personal examples of each of these. The first thought error is called all or nothing thinking. All or nothing thinking is when you see things in only two categories, like black or white. For example, someone might say, "Nothing I do is right." This is a black or white statement. You're saying it's either all right or all wrong. That's all or nothing thinking. A tinnitus-specific example might be, if my tinnitus is loud when I wake up in the morning, I know I will have a bad day.
The second thought error on this list is called oversimplifying. Oversimplifying is where you see one bad event as a pattern that never changes. For example, if you get on the wrong train, you might say, "I'll never learn how to use a train." A tinnitus-specific example of this might be to say, I had horrible sleep from my tinnitus. I will never get a good night's sleep. So this thought error is called oversimplifying. You see one bad event as a pattern that never changes.
The third thought error on the list of the 12 common thought errors is called focusing on wrong details. When you're focusing on the wrong details, you pick out a single detail and focus on it. And you don't think about more positive details. For example, someone might say, I'm a terrible student because I got a 70% on my math homework. This person is not remembering when he or she did better on other tests. A tinnitus example would be, my tinnitus made it hard to enjoy dinner with a friend. So again, you want to focus on the positive details. If you had dinner with a friend, I'm sure there were some positive aspects to the dinner, such as good food and good company.
The fourth common thought error from this list is called jumping to conclusions. This is when you make assumptions that things will turn out badly, even though you don't have the facts to support them. For instance, you might assume that you know what someone else is thinking. A tinnitus-themed example of this might sound something like this. My tinnitus kept me awake last night. The next day I met a friend for coffee. I was really tired and I didn't talk much. I bet he thought I was boring. So you're jumping to conclusions with that statement by saying your friend thought that you were boring. Do you know that for a fact? How do you know your friend wasn't thinking, wow, she's a really good listener? When we have the thought error of jumping to conclusions, we make negative assumptions that are not based on facts.
The fifth common thought error is called overestimating. This is when you think things are more important than they really are, such as your goof up or someone else's success. A good tinnitus example would be, my tinnitus makes me moody. No one wants to be around me. So you're overestimating how much your mood influences how much people want to be around you. Overestimating is when you think things are more important than they really are.
The next thought error is called underestimating. This is when you think things are less important than they really are, such as your own success or someone else's fault. For example, I know I got a 95% on the test, but I could have done better. So you're underestimating the value of your success. A tinnitus-themed example would be something like this. Yeah, I learned to get sleep even though my tinnitus is loud by using soothing sounds. Even so, I'll never learn how to deal with my tinnitus. I can't handle this. Do you see how that is an example of underestimating or devaluing the value of your hard work?
The next thought error we will review is number 7 on our list. It's called assuming the worst. This is when you think something is much worse than it really is. For example, a woman who got a low grade on a quiz might say that it's the end of her college career. She's just assuming that one little aspect is going to make everything really, really bad. A tinnitus example might be, I'm afraid that my tinnitus is going to get so bad that I won't even be able to go to the store. This person is assuming the worst, even though there is no basis to make such an assumption.
Let's look at number 8 on our list of thought errors. This one is called emotional thoughts. Emotional thoughts is when you think your emotions show the way things really are. In other words, you might think, I feel it, so it must be true. Some people call this thinking with your gut. An example of this kind of thinking might be, although I've worked hard all my life, I feel like a failure. This statement is based on feeling, not facts. A tinnitus example might sound something like this. I feel that no one knows what I'm going through with my tinnitus. I feel all alone. In this case, you may not really be alone, even if you truly feel alone. Sometimes your feelings don't accurately represent how things really are.
The 9th thought error on our list is called should statements. This is when you say should and shouldn't to try to get yourself to do hard tasks. These statements tend to make you feel guilty Also included are the words must and ought. For example, life should be fair. A tinnitus example would be, I should not have to deal with my tinnitus during the best years of my life. These statements are not helpful and they are somewhat negative. You could have a more positive thought.
The 10th thought error on our list is called labeling. Labeling is where you attach a bad label to yourself or others. An example of this could be a thought such as, he lost his keys, so he's stupid. Stupid is a negative label. A tinnitus-specific example of labeling might be, I can't deal with my tinnitus, so I'm a weak person. When you assign these labels and say them out loud, it's easy to believe them. Labeling is a common thought error.
The 11th thought error is called making things personal. This is when you see yourself as the cause of some negative event when you are not responsible. You ignore other details. For example, it was hard for me to enjoy the picnic. I caused everyone else to have a bad time too. A tinnitus example would be, I left the concert last night because it was bothering my tinnitus. My friends probably had a lousy time without me there. So this is saying I'm responsible for my friends' attitudes when really I can't control how other people act and feel. This person makes it personal and believes he or she is responsible for someone else feeling a certain way.
The last thought error on our list is called blaming. This is where you blame yourself for your problems or other people's problems. It can also be when you blame others for your problems or other people's problems. A blaming thought sounds like this. I didn't get the job because you didn't